Jungkook returns from Japan without HYBE escort. Is he breaking free? On May 24, 2025, BTS's Jungkook was spotted at Gimpo International Airport, reportedly returning from Japan without any HYBE staff accompanying him. This unexpected solo appearance has sparked widespread speculation among fans and media alike. Given that Jungkook is still officially enlisted in the military, with his discharge scheduled for June 11, 2025, questions arise about the nature of his trip and its implications. Adding to the intrigue, Jungkook was seen carrying a professional MPB camera bag, leading fans to speculate about a potential new project, possibly a travel series akin to Are You Sure?, which premiered on Disney Plus in August 2024. The absence of HYBE staff during his return has led to theories that Jungkook might be distancing himself from the agency's traditional oversight. This development comes on the heels of fellow BTS member Jimin's recent trip to Japan, further fueling rumors of upcoming collaborations or solo endeavors. As the BTS members approach the end of their military service, with a full group reunion anticipated in June 2025, fans are eagerly watching for signs of what's next. While no official statements have been made regarding Jungkook's unaccompanied return or his potential projects, the situation underscores the evolving dynamics between K-pop idols and their management agencies. As fans await further updates, Jungkook's actions continue to captivate and inspire speculation about his future endeavors. Is Jungkook secretly breaking away from HYBE? The silent clues behind his solo return from Japan have fans on edge when Jungkook quietly landed at Gimpo Airport on May 24, 2025. Fans expected the usual fanfare, HYBE staff surrounding him, tight security, and cameras flashing. But what they witnessed instead was a completely different picture. Jungkook, calm yet distant, walking through the terminal alone, with no visible presence from his agency. No one was holding his luggage. No staff members seemed to be there to greet or escort him. For a global superstar of his stature, the silence surrounding his return was deafening. Why would one of HYBE's biggest stars return from an international trip with zero support from the company? Why the sudden withdrawal of the standard protocols that accompany every BTS member? Is this a sign that Jungkook no longer wants to be a part of the system he's lived in since he was a teenager? Theories have exploded online. Some believe Jungkook is preparing for a solo path completely independent of Bigot, a move that, while bold, would mark one of the biggest shifts in K-pop history. Others whisper that his solo Japan trip, supposedly made during his active military service, is more than just an artistic excursion. Is it possible that Jungkook is testing the waters, preparing for life outside the rules that once bound him? What troubles fans the most is the eerie synchronization of recent events. Just one day before Jungkook was spotted, Jimin too was seen flying to Japan. Yet unlike Jungkook, Jimin's movement seemed guarded, with some level of discretion. Could the two be working together on a secret project? Or is this an emotional escape, a personal mission fueled by deeper conflicts no one dares to address? Adding more fuel to the fire, Jungkook was seen carrying an MPB camera bag, an item associated with professional-grade content creation. What was he filming? Was this for a brand new documentary? A music video? A behind-the-scenes of a farewell project? Fans have begun dissecting the weight of the bag, the straps on his shoulder, the expression on his face, searching for any trace of a hidden message. More puzzling still is the timing. Jungkook is just weeks away from completing his military service. Why would he risk controversy now, when his re-entry into the public spotlight should be carefully orchestrated? Or is that the exact reason for his silence? Is he deliberately disrupting the script to reclaim control over his career? Some insiders whisper of tensions between Jungkook's family and HYBE's top brass, specifically with Bang Si-hyuk himself. Could an internal disagreement over Jungkook's future plans or contract terms be pushing him away? Rumors of this nature are nearly impossible to confirm, yet the lack of celebration surrounding his upcoming discharge only raises more questions than in the past. BTS members have always been surrounded by protective layers of management, both for safety and image control. But this time, with no staff in sight and no official statement from HYBE, it almost feels like a silent protest. A quiet storm, a deliberate act of independence. Could this mean Jungkook is preparing to announce a split from Big Hit? Could the absence of agency oversight be a symbolic move, his way of showing that he no longer needs their shield? Or is he simply trying to return to normal life, one where he doesn't have to be followed at every step? Whatever the reason, this unaccompanied return from Japan marks a seismic shift. Fans feel it. The silence around it speaks volumes. And Jungkook's expression, stoic, unreadable, and hauntingly alone, has left millions asking the same question. Is Jungkook trying to say goodbye? And if he is, why is no one stopping him? This is not just about a solo trip. This is not just about a bag. This is about identity, about power, about a young man who became a global icon and now seems to be pulling away from everything that made him one. As Jungkook's military service nears its end, one truth remains. What comes next may shock the world more than anyone is prepared for to storm before the silence. Jungkook's solo return and the shadows behind the spotlight. As more photos from that day at Gimpo Airport began to circulate online, armies across the world were caught in a whirlwind of confusion and concern. His walk through the terminal was not rushed, but it wasn't confident either. He wasn't hiding from the cameras, but he wasn't embracing them. There was something distant in his eyes, something unspoken that no flashbulb could capture. For someone who's mastered the art of performance for over a decade, that moment of raw detachment did not go unnoticed. Why did no one from Big Hit accompany him when he returned from Japan? In a world where image is everything and celebrity movements are tightly orchestrated, this wasn't just a logistical anomaly. It felt intentional. But if it was, then what message was Jungkook sending? Some believe this could be a calculated step. After years of being under a microscope, constantly shielded, scheduled, and spoken for, is Jungkook quietly stepping out of the narrative written for him? Fans pointed out that during the 2024 Disney Plus travel series Are You Sure?, Jungkook had shown a strong creative vision. He filmed, edited, and even directed some of the content himself, often getting lost in his own world behind the lens. Could his Japan trip have been a continuation of that, an independent visual diary, perhaps? If so, why is HYBE silent about it? And what of the military? Jungkook is still officially enlisted. Although there's no confirmation he violated any rules, his trip raised eyebrows. Could his movement have been cleared privately by the military authorities? Or was it kept under wraps to avoid controversy, especially if the purpose wasn't purely personal? This also isn't the first time Jungkook has shown signs of emotional strain in recent months. Reports from his military base in March 2025 indicated that despite his promotion to sergeant, a clear recognition of his discipline and excellence, he had grown increasingly quiet, often seen alone even during off-duty hours. One source, speaking anonymously, noted that Jungkook seemed proud of his military work, but he rarely talked about what he'd do after, like he wasn't sure anymore. And then there's the February livestream incident. Fans still haven't forgotten that unscripted moment during J-Hope's birthday stream when Jimin called Jungkook and passed the phone around. Jungkook's voice was soft, warm, but there was something underneath, an uncertainty, maybe even melancholy. His words were brief, and he ended the call with what many believe to be a cryptic goodbye. Let's see where the road goes. Was he hinting at his internal conflict even then? Was the road he referred to one that didn't lead back to Big Hit or even BTS? The theory that won't die is this: Jungkook is preparing to go independent. And if that's true, why now? Why? Just weeks before his discharge, would he quietly detach from the very machine that built him? Unless something behind the scenes has deeply changed, insiders claim that tensions have been brewing ever since late 2024, when talks began about long-term post-military planning for each member. Jungkook, it's been said, was uncomfortable with the initial direction Big Hit pitched. A world tour? A group album? Brandteiens? To some, it sounded like a machine trying to run the same program again. But Jungkook isn't 15 anymore. He's 27 now, a man who has lived more lives than most people ever will, and somewhere between the global concerts and fashion shoots, he may have lost his sense of personal authorship. Is that what the Japan trip was about? Was it about reclaiming that authorship? Or was it a warning? The fact that he reportedly boarded the same Tokyo-bound plane as a female fan who shared her experience online, an experience that involved Jungkook personally signing tickets for her and others, adds another layer of contradiction. Why would someone allegedly avoiding attention, who skipped agency accompaniment, casually interact with fans on a commercial flight? Is he breaking down the wall Bigot built around him? Or was that his final act of connection, before disappearing into something new? No matter how you look at it, the silence from Bigot is growing louder. They've issued no statement on Jungkook's return, no clarification about whether the Japan trip was authorized, no PR move to control the narrative. That's not just suspicious, it's unprecedented. Historically, when BTS members made international moves during military service, the agency worked overtime to clarify, pacify, and reassure. Why not now? Are they avoiding confirmation of something bigger? Or have they simply lost control of the story? It would not be the first time an artist outgrew their label. But for it to be Jungkook, arguably the golden boy of BTS, the center of countless global endorsements, the one member who has consistently topped solo charts even during enlistment, that's monumental. If there's a rift, it won't just be a scandal. It will shake the K-pop industry to its core. Jungkook has always been the quiet one, but his silence now feels more deliberate than ever. It's a silence that speaks of distance, perhaps defiance. A silence that says, "You don't know what I'm planning." And maybe that's the point. So what comes next? Will Bigot release a sudden comeback teaser to crush the rumors? Will Jungkook post something cryptic on Instagram or Weverse to redirect the narrative? Or will the silence continue, leaving fans to interpret shadows and fragments? One thing is certain, we are watching a turning point. And whatever decision Jungkook makes when he steps out of uniform and into the spotlight again, it will not be the same Jungkook who left.